do, I just want to remind everybody, electronics-wise, make sure that electronics are silenced, kind of put away, so that you can give Maritza your full attention throughout the course of her presentation. Before we get started though, I just want to welcome everyone here. I'm Samantha Angeletta. This is my first year as the sole WISE coordinator. Dr. Fritz paved the way for me and then passed the baton fully. So this year was a lot, but thanks to Ms. Huber and the WISE task force and the WISE mentors, I was able to get it done. So thank you all, you're in the room somewhere here, for helping me. Your time and commitment to the students and the program has been very appreciated, and without it, WISE would not be well and alive. So thank you again for all your work. Student projects, the reason why we're here. There's going to be several projects going on throughout the weeks leading up. So if you are interested in being on the panel, you could see myself, Ms. Huber. There's emails that have gone out so that you could sign up to be on the evaluation panel. We've had so many projects with all of our kids that are so unique to their passions and future paths this year. We've had so many kids back out in the real world doing internships, and it was super, super hard to pick a model presentation. So luckily, Maritza came to me and pitched me reasons as to why she should be the model presenter, and she sold me. So that is why we're here today. She showed so much confidence and showed so much confidence throughout the course of getting to this day here today. So I'm super proud of her, and just realizing her self-assurance is why I solidified that she will be our model presenter today. And she will be presenting on the Police Academy. But before I turn her over, I just want to thank the evaluators for being here and for your feedback and your time. And we'll get started. Maritza, come on over.
Thank you everyone for coming today. As Ms. Angeletta said, my name is Maritza Calderon, and for my project I will be presenting Police Academy. I want to thank Ms. Angeletta first for the amazing introduction. I'm so happy to have her as my coordinator this year for WISE, and she did a really great job help setting everything up. So, before WISE started, I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do for my presentation at all. I thought that maybe I was going to start a business, and then the day before WISE started, I decided to do body positivity, sorry. But as I kept doing the research for it, I realized it wasn't interesting me at all. So I decided to connect my WISE presentation with what I was learning in BOCES, which I studied security, law, and policing. And I realized I enjoyed studying criminal justice more than I was studying my other topics. The reason I joined WISE this year was because back in 2017, my sister was a WISE alumni, and she actually was always telling me for the past 5 years how much she loved being in WISE, how much she loved the program, and that I should always join. So I really do hope you enjoy, and I want to give a quick disclaimer that everything used is fake. So we do have a few props. We have fake drugs used. Fake props for drugs, and we also have fake handcuffs that we'll be using. And I want to thank the people helping me. We have Officer Calderon, Officer Robinson, and Officer Vienna May. So thank you to them for helping me with my project. Yes. So before I start the demos, I want to talk about some of the certifications and trips I've been on to help me accomplish my presentation. The first one is my first aid and CPR certification. I also did my 40-hour dispatching course, which makes me able to, once I turn 18, I'll be able to apply to any of the 911 centers. And I also am working on my 8-hour security course right now, which I take the test next Monday. And I'm also working on my FEMAs, which stands for Federal Emergency Agency, which helps with natural disasters or any terrorism attacks. So you would be prepared in case of it happening and you would be able to help out. So sort of like the Red Cross. And also, for my trip wise, I went to 60 Control, which is where they do the 9/11 dispatching and where the police academy and firefighter academy is. So I was able to see a call happen in real time and kind of see the technology they use, see if that was a path I was interested in. I also got to see the police academy and see the firefighters put out an actual fire and see if any of those were some paths that I want to take in the future. I also went to the Women in Law trip, which I went with my BOCES class. I got to speak to female attorneys, lawyers, court officers, and they all talked about how in the criminal justice field, it is predominantly male run. You don't see, especially a few years ago, you didn't see women being police officers, being lawyers, being judges. There was no bathrooms for female judges because they didn't think that female should be a judge. So they talked about how they have paved the way to make it more equal for in the criminal justice field. Another trip I went on, I went to Pace University twice with Mr. Greaves, which it was run by the PDI organization, which helps young adults, teenagers get into becoming lawyers, helping them talk about law school and learning what pathways you could take to become a lawyer or an attorney. And the last thing I did to especially helped with this project was I worked over 30 hours of security at BOCES. I worked for the karaoke show, the car show, the Skills USA competition, and I also helped with the yearly Halloween parade they have. So it was really a good experience to be able to see if that was another career path I wanted to take. So here's some of the photos I've taken during my time. Most of the times I wasn't really able to take photos. We aren't allowed during security to take photos, so it's a little bit harder to find. But these three photos right here are all from my certifications or just certifications from the trips and from all the things I've gotten. Right here is from when we went to the Pace University. We did a few case studies and we also acted as if we were also in a court and we're able to act as lawyers, and we had actual judges telling us what we would do better. Right here is when we did the crime scene investigations. We learned how to measure, how to check, make sure nothing's tampered with, how to make sure evidence is safely put away. Right here is when I worked security at the Halloween parade with my friend Brianna.
I'm sorry.
It was pretty cool because we got to actually wear the vest. We also had, you can't see it, but we had police belts. So we had handcuffs, the fake guns, our radios, which are here. For the radios, it was fun. It was really my favorite part to learn about in class because we got to see what the military, the police alphabet, different codes that they use while communicating. And then right there is when we met with the Westchester Canine Force, and we also met with the FBI agents the same day. So that was really interesting to do. We got to ask them lots of questions. We got to see how the dog works in action. So the first topic I want to talk about is fingerprinting. Fingerprinting has many benefits. It can help most of the times find the criminal faster. Sometimes they'll leave their fingerprints on a weapon or the body, and sometimes it helps identify corpses that maybe their face is too distorted to see who they really are. Sometimes their fingerprints can still be intact. So it's always good to have your fingerprints in file. Fingerprinting became a technique in 1892 but American investigators didn't really start using it until 1910. So any cases before then, and even maybe until 1950, when they got better technology to do fingerprints, was a little bit harder to solve. I do think fingerprinting has paved the way to make it easier to catch criminals. So, and usually for specific jobs, like jobs in the education field or the criminal justice field, you definitely have to get fingerprinted to get the job, just to make sure background checks and just the safety of everybody else. I'm pretty sure, has any of the teachers here been fingerprinted? Yeah.
All the teachers?
Yeah,
out
so
there?
all of them, yeah. So I want to show you guys how to do, I'm going to show you guys how to do fingerprinting. And also I'm going to have some of my officers pass around a 10 card if you just want to take a look at it real quick. It's just kind of how it would look if it was filled out. Actually, wait. If you look at the board, you can kind of see how it is. I'm going to see if I can make it. Okay. So if you see the screen, you can kind of see, you'll be able to see how it is.
Yeah, they think it is. But their DNA is the same.
Oh, you can. So, as you can see on the top of the 10 card, you have the information right here. Right here you would have the information to fill out, their name, their social security number, and signature, and just all the information that, so you can make sure you fingerprinted the right person, and you also have to sign yourself to state that you fingerprinted. So, when doing fingerprinted, you always want to wear gloves to make sure you do not cross-contaminate or accidentally get your fingerprints instead. It just makes it harder. You always want to start, as you can see here, it's going to start with the right thumb, so that will be number 1. You're going to lightly press and kind of do a circular motion. When fingerprinting, usually you will have a black box that they use in the police stations. I was not able to get one today, so the best we have is a table, which you always want to keep kind of rolling it out. And you'll press lightly and roll it out. Thank you. And usually you repeat with the bottom, which is going to be the left, which would be your left thumb, which is number 6. Your left pinky would be number 10 on the 10 card. So next we're going to do the bottom, which is you try to fit all 4 fingers. Usually you will not be able to. So we start with these 3 fingers. You try to get as much of the fingers you can. Sometimes you're not able to get the whole finger, depending on how big the person is and how big the 10 card is. That you're just going to press firmly instead of rolling it around. So sometimes you do accidentally put a little too much ink like we did there. But usually you already have the fingerprints on top, so it doesn't make too much of a problem. So when doing it, you would have that, and you would also do the left side. So it would end up looking like this, and the top would be filled out already, you always want to start with the top being filled out first. And just give me 1 second so I can put the board, the presentation back on. So, like I said, the fingerprints will always be numbered, so it makes it a little bit easier to remember where you're going. And when doing the bottom right here, always try to get as much, that's so you can get as much detail. So I know you couldn't really see it that well on the camera, so right here is the lowest we try to go. Sometimes the person might have bigger fingers, so you won't be able to go as low as that, but we do try our best to at least get from to here. It is a bit of a struggle, but we do try, and that's also, you'll put less ink when doing that, just so you can get more detail. The next thing I want to talk about is still the 3 fingerprints. Now, it is usually, if someone has more of a less common one, it makes it easier to identify that person. So there is 3 fingerprints. The first one is the loop, which is the one in the middle, which is the most common with 65% of the population having it. The ridges enter from one side, loop around, and exit on the other side. I remember by thinking it kind of looks like a little bit of a hill, like right here. And the next one is the whirl, which is the one closest to me. 30% of the population has it. The ridges form a circulation or a spiral pattern, so it's just a circle pretty much. That's the best way to remember it. The final one is the arch, which is the least common. It has a wave-like pattern, having ridges enter from one side and exit the other side. So the way we were taught, in my class at least, to figure out which one you have is by giving balloons out, and I'll show you. So the best way to see which one you have is by taking a balloon, and real quick I can demonstrate.
How many fingers? 1, 2?
Sorry. So the best way would be pressing your finger. Your thumb most times is the best one to see it. Pressing it lightly, or get enough ink, press it lightly onto the ink, and then press it into the middle of the balloon. And then just blow up the balloon and you'll be able to see which one you have. Oh, of course you got it.
Huh?
Of course you got the common one.
I'm very unique.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, if anybody else wants to try, when the bell is ringing, or that little in between section, so like in 10 minutes, you can come up and try, and we'll let you see which one you have.
That's a world.
Which one do you guys have?
I think I have the world one, the last one.
I think I have a loop.
I'm just gonna have them pass out wipey so you can clean your fingers. You don't want to get. So that's the way we've always learned, and it's really interesting to see what everybody is different, because even if you have everyone has in the same room, everyone can have a whirl, but your whirl will look different from everybody else's. I think one of the parts that I really enjoyed learning about fingerprinting was seeing how everyone's fingerprint can be different. Even if you're related, your cousins, your family can still have different fingerprints. It's never like genetic. So that was really one of the things I found interesting and why I continued studying it. The next thing I want to talk about At least the next subject I want to talk about was pat downs. So I'm gonna give a quick demo on how to do a pat down. So when doing a pat down, I'm just gonna have my person get ready. When doing pat downs, you always want to first always ask for consent. If they say no, most likely you would have to bring them into further investigation. You never know what could be hiding. The reason we do pat downs is to ensure everybody's safety. Especially in the club, if you're going to the club, I know it sounds silly, but there's going to always be someone patting people down. You never want to have a shooting there or someone bringing illegal drugs or any little knives. So when doing a pat down, we try our best to have the same sex pat down each other. So male officer on a male suspect or a female officer on a female suspect, it just makes it more comfortable, because if we had a male officer and a female, he would most likely would be more gentle during the pat down, making the safety not fully ensured. So Officer Bename is going to help me demonstrate how to do a pat down. I'm going to, usually you would ask them to put their hands up against the wall, but just for this part, we'll have them turn around. You put your hands up. Do you consent to a pat down?
Yes.
So before I start, usually she has a scarf on her head. For this, we won't be taking it off, but if it was a real pat down in real times, we would take it off, ask her to remove it, make sure she is not hiding any little bags there or any little knives she could be hiding. Same with her jacket, we would take it off. When doing sensitive areas, you always want to use the back of your hand. For this, I won't be doing the full-on pat down, but I will be doing most of it. So you will always start up to down. So I'll start with the arm closest to me. I'm just going to keep touching it around. Make sure, make sure there's nothing there. Put your hand back. So just want to make sure they are not hiding anything. So, like I said, in this, they might be hiding. This could have been a little bag of drugs that they could have been hiding. And like I said, sensitive areas, you'll always use the back of your hand. And this could have been a knife they could have been hiding. And then you would just continue to the legs after you do the arm. And usually, sometimes we'll have them take off their shoes, make sure there's nothing in their shoes. You're good. Thank you. Like I said, the whole point of pat down is just to ensure the safety. You never know what they're bringing inside, what they're bringing into courts, what they're bringing into any like special place that could harm anybody else. So the next thing I want to talk about, you just gotta give us a few seconds to set up. But for this topic, we are going to be doing demo. We are going to be doing de-escalation. Before we start the demo, I just want you to keep in mind, if you ever do decide to become a police officer, or any job where you might have to calm someone down, you always want to keep a calm tone. You do not want to be yelling at them. You don't want to start screaming, startle them at all. Your job is to just, as I said, de-escalate the situation, calm down the situation, keep steady body language. Don't come in frantic, ready to shoot them. Like, there's been times where police officers have come in and they're ready, even though it's not that crazy of a situation and they could have prevented some of the stuff happening. So the goal is always to keep everyone safe, no matter what. Don't make any quick movements. Keep your hands to the side. Don't be reaching for, if you're a police officer, don't be reaching for your gun belt. Don't be reaching for the handcuffs. That's just going to startle the person more. So for this demo, we are just going to set it up real quick, so please be patient. We are just going to do a domestic abuse call. So me and Officer Calderon will be calming down Officer Bename and Officer Robinson.
Hey, I'm home.
What are you doing? It's 1 in the morning. You can't just walk in here.
I'm with my friends watching the game.
You're with your friends every day. You're watching the game at 1 a.m.
You too.
I work for this house.
You use all the time.
I work
all
every
the
day.
time.
Do you
Every
work?
single night.
Do you pay the bills?
Yeah.
What bills do you pay?
Electricity.
Right.
Rent.
I pay all of those, first of all.
No.
You don't even give me half for rent.
No. That's
You
not
don't
true.
even give me half for
That's
rent.
true.
You don't even give me half for rent. Where are you going? Why are you gonna walk away from me?
The SW Postage Police Department.
Hey, I'm talking to you. You can't just walk away from me like that. You can't just walk away.
Okay, ma'am, you need to come with me. That's it. Can you please tell me what happened?
Yes, he walked in late and he frustrated me because he tried to give me a hug and he kept trying to touch me.
Okay, have you ever hit him before? Has he ever hit you?
No.
So neither of you hit each other before?
No.
So why did you hit him this time?
Because I was frustrated.
Okay, I understand. Are you by any chance under anything? Have you drinking anything tonight? Taking any drugs?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Do you have somewhere else to stay tonight?
Yes, my sister lives up the street.
Okay, so I'm going to take you there while we do further investigation, okay?
Okay.
I'll leave that this way.
Okay, so what happened today?
I got home from my parents' house watching the game. It's pretty late out. Had a few drinks, and she just got angry and hit me.
How long has this been happening?
About 2 months. I feel trapped.
Do you have any place to go tonight?
No, nowhere. Just here.
So, in this situation, me and Officer Calderon would have both came together, talked about what was happening, what side of the story we heard. As you heard, we both heard two sides of the story. Officer Bename said that she has never hit him before, but it seems that Officer Robinson has a different view of it and that he has been hit. Obviously for this, the whole point was to calm down the situation, making sure he doesn't get hit again. But we would take it into further investigation, again trying to make sure no one's getting hurt. So we would have had both of them split, go to different houses, or one of them stay in the house, other one go back to their friend's house, and we would have taken it to further investigation to see how long it's been going on. There is no marks on him, so we wouldn't be able to do a quick arrest. If there was marks and proof of hitting before and any reports before, then that's when we would have been able to take her in and continue. So, like I said before, the whole point is just, I know sometimes it's gonna get, most of the times you're gonna get these kinds of domestic abuse calls. Most of the times in my class, the ones we were taught how to de-escalate was always domestic abuse or arguments on the street, fights. That's the ones we've been taught that's gonna happen the most. So it's always good, even if you aren't a police officer and you kind of see it happen in real time, it's always good to be able to separate them, know what to do, know how to calm the person down. Even if it's just a friend or family and you see them arguing, you just always want to keep it calm, make sure nothing elevates, nothing happens more. What time is the bell ring? 12:54. So the bell does ring in 2 minutes. So if anybody wanted to try seeing what fingerprint they had, you can come up and do that. We are just going to get ready for our next demo real quick. So you want to do
You just go to the engine process.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you for letting us take that short break. I hope everyone was able to get their fingerprints taken down. Again, after this, maybe if you want to do it, we can still pass them out. So our next topic is going to be DUI stops. So that I don't really have much to say. I'm going to just show you the demo and how it works. Yep. So usually when there's DUI stops, you're going when you have DUI stops, it's going to be, you'll most likely have a second officer, especially if you see a car full of more than 2 people. You are going to want to have a second officer. For this one, we only have 2 people. So she will stay next to officers. Twice yet. So most important part of dealer stop is just keeping yourself safe, which I'll show you different ways to do that. So the way is you always want to make sure you're on the traffic stop. So it's going to be, ready? Car 20 dispatch.
Dispatch on.
Show me on a traffic stop on 123 Main Street. The license plate is WHS 2025. New York license plate, black BMW.
Car came back, no wants, no warrants.
After you hear no wants, no warrants, you're going to get up out of your car. Both officers, you will not stand like this. You do not want to stand like this at all. You want to make sure you have space for them to open the car door in case they try to harm you in any way. So the first thing you're going to do is ask them to pull down the window. Sir, can you please pull down your window? Okay. So you want to make sure you introduce yourself, badge number, and your department. So I'm Officer Calderon. My badge number is 123456, and I'm from the SW BOCES Police Department. Could I please see your license or registration? Thank you, sir. So you'll check as you're getting handed the license or registration, in this scenario, you can smell a strong alcoholic odor in his breath. So then I'll ask him to step out the car. Sir, can you please turn off your car and step out, please? When doing this, you do not want to turn your back to the other person, so you're going to walk backwards to the back of the car. For this, we're just going to move the chairs out the way real quick. In this scenario, Officer Vienna May would have stayed next to the car, making sure Officer Calderon doesn't run outside the car and try to escape too, or drive away the car. So for this, we will be doing I will be performing 3 similar tests on you. Do you consent? So he will be in the back of the car. Let's say the back of the car. The back of the car is here, sir. Make sure their hands are to their side. Can you keep your hands to the side, sir? Okay. The first will be the pen test. Can you stand over here so everyone can see? The pen test is to make sure to see if their eyes will follow. So can you please keep your hands to your side and follow the pen with only your eyes. Do not move your head. Ready? Do not move your head, sir. Okay. You please stop moving your head. Failed the first test. As you can see, he wasn't able to follow simple instructions, but we will run this other 2. The second test will be walking in a straight line, heel to toe, hands to the side, taking 9 steps forward, 9 steps back. I will demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn around. 1, 2, 3, 4. But you count to 9. Can you do that for me, sir?
1, 7,
Heel to toe.
3,
9 steps, sir.
2, 9.
Okay, he failed the second one, wasn't able to follow simple instructions, and his movement was a little bit wobbly. The last test will be to hands to your side. You are going to put your right leg up and turn it to the right, stare at it, and count to 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you do that and count to 30 for me?
1,
Right leg, sir.
1, 2,
Hands to your side.
3, 4.
So then, as you can tell, he paused, and you already smelled the strong odor of alcohol on him. So then, you will bring him back into the police department. Please, can you turn around, put your hands behind your back for me? Taking him into further investigation. The Officer Calderon would have also been seen if he was underage drinking. We would check for him for his ID. If not, we would send him home and have the card taken away to see if there was any alcohol or even drugs in there. Good? So that would have been DUI stops. Pretty simple. Usually, I know most people think that you would use a breathalyzer. We've never been taught to use the breathalyzer. Usually in the department, you will. It just makes sure if he actually has been drinking. It confirms if you could actually arrest him, and you'll do further on tests. So the next topic would be handcuffing, which is my favorite one. I think it's honestly the most fun one to learn. So for handcuffing, we will do two different demos. We will do, first one will be regular handcuffing, and the second one will be prone position. As you can see in the picture, these two right here are the keyholes, but we call them the eyes to make it easier to remember. You always want the eyes facing the person. I'll be arresting Officer Calderon. And always make sure you have the key with you. Can you, Amir? Kind of like this. So he has a bone right here. It's a little bit hard to see. Right here or right here is where you want to press the handcuffs onto. You always want to make sure it's in your dominant hand, the keyholes facing towards the person. So like this, you always just want to make sure the handcuffs are good to go by resetting them. So I'm going to turn it on. You're going to introduce yourself and your badge number and the reason for the arrest. Hi, my name is Officer Calderon, and my badge number is 123456, and you are under arrest for the possession of drugs. Can you please turn around and put your hands behind your back? And it will just go. And as you can see, they'll have a little table kind of, so you can use that to help on handcuff. And I'm going to demonstrate it one more time just so people on this side can see it a little bit better. Keep the hand behind and make sure these are closed so they cannot swing it at you. And I'm just going to demonstrate one more time. So like I said, right here, that bone, we'll be pressing it. And it'll just be like that. And for the second demo, it will be prone position. So prone position is usually when you believe the person has weapons or any drugs. And usually you have multiple police officers on the scene with you. This is more of the emergency one. So Officer Brandon May will be arresting Officer Robinson. We're going to try making that everybody see it. So why don't we have him like this? So,
All right, can you put your hands up for me, please? Get down on one knee. Get down on the other knee. Put your hands in front of you. Slide your legs back. Slide your arms out. All right, put your arms behind your back, please. Okay, I'm going to arrest you now, okay?
And before she starts, she will put her knee on his back, doing low pressure. And the reason, usually when doing prone position, you will do a quick pat down. Right now, we will not do that. After they're arrested, you will do a quick pat down, see if the weapons are on them still, and just make sure you take them away.
Turn over.
So now you'll be turning him over and
Sit up.
picking him up.
And up.
And it's going to be the same way of uncuffing him.
Keep your hands behind your back. Thank you.
So that's how you would do handcuffing. Sometimes, luckily for this demo, we had compliant people. Sometimes you will not have them be so compliant. Then you might have to that's why we always want a second police officer on standby to make sure you are able to get the extra help if you need it, especially let's say it was Officer Vandermeer was by herself and it was someone taller or bigger than her. She wouldn't be able to pick him up by herself either. So we try to have someone else always helping, especially when going into prone position. So, in my time at WISE, it has given me the opportunity to learn about different things about myself. I learned new strategies like time management and how to do research better. For time management, I started using a planner. I started planning out when I would do my pigs and my journals, and I found my pigs really easy, and I know some of the WISE students have struggled. Mine related to government, as I was talking about police officers and military, so I found mine pretty easy to do. WISE, with the research skills, WISE has taught me how to do the site annotations, what websites to use to find good scholarly articles, and I'm just grateful I joined the program. It has helped me learn about myself and helped me grow, especially now going to college. I also got better at writing emails. For my original project, I had to email a tech lab all the time to plan for interviews and microphones and all that, so I had to learn how to make sure my email sounded professional. And I also learned during WISE that I love going for walks. It was always a good way to get my PE hours in, hang out with my friends, or just listen to a podcast. So it was really fun to just learn different things. Since the beginning of WISE, since maybe the first workshop when they mentioned the demo presenter, that was always my goal, was to become the demo presenter. Changing projects, I wasn't sure if I would still be able to, but I'm really happy I was able to get my project in a time, learn how to do the time management. Sorry. But it was really hard. I don't want to say it was easy to do WISE. I have a job, and just being a senior was already hard as it is. Having time to pick college, pick a major, figure out when I would have time to work on my project was a lot. I definitely think that practicing over and over again made my project go smoother. It made it easier to know what I wanted to say, not having to keep looking back at my slides, not having to stress about it. So I'm really happy I was able to do this, and I think it was a great experience to do WISE. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who asked. It helps you grow as a person, it helps you learn more about yourself, learn more about career paths. In the beginning of the school year, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Now moving forward, I think I have a good concept of what I want to do in the next 8 years. So moving forward after WISE, once I turn 18, I plan on taking the 16-hour security course and getting my full security license and working security while in college. I will be attending Mercy University this fall. I will be studying business and finance and minoring in communication arts. And I plan on joining the ROTC program, which after my 4 years at college, I will be serving in the Army for 4 years afterwards. And after those 4 years, I hope to become a police officer or stay in the Army. So I definitely don't think I would have discovered that I want to do that unless I joined WISE. I think I would have just been stuck with thinking, oh, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I'm going to do in college. So it definitely helped me a lot figuring out what I'll be doing next. So just wanted to thank everyone for coming today, everyone for showing up, the whole panel for coming here. And I want to thank all the people who supported me, especially Miss Newby, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it today. She has always been, this whole time in WISE, I knew I could always go to her, and I was always able to talk to her when I was struggling, when I wanted to change my project. Thank you to Miss Angeletta, Miss Huber for always helping me and supporting me through this journey. Thank you to my officers who helped me. Thank you, Sydney Fianame, Giovanni Robinson, and John Calderon for helping me. And my BOCES teacher, Brianna and Savannah Haffenden, for helping me with my project the whole time and telling me if it sounded good and kind of going over with me multiple times and letting me just rant to them. I really appreciate everyone in this room, and thank you for coming. Does anyone have any questions?
First of all, I'm gonna just say this: you rocked the presentation.
Thank you.
Always have confidence in yourself, no matter what happens. I have one question. So, when let's say there's an officer and they're by yourself, and the criminal tries to get away, will the person like have to use like emergency precautions or like a taser or something, or will the person just have to like call for backup and then have the person just on the ground, pinned to the ground temporarily?
The question was if they run away, right?
Yes.
So most likely, police officers do their fitness test. So if they did pass their fitness test, they should be able to chase after the suspect. They will call for backup while they are going. It depends the situation too. So if we have like a robbery, they'll chase after. If it's maybe someone with a gun, they call for backup and then start chasing. Using precaution like a taser would always be good, especially in a more dangerous situation. I guess Ms. Luonga.
Congratulations on an informative presentation. When you just showed us the two demonstrations, is it the officer's preference as to which one to use as far as handcuffing, whether it was on the ground or if it was just simply behind your back, or is that just it's the office?
It never depends on preference. It depends on the situation. So I feel like you guys have probably seen the movies when they ask the person to get out their house because maybe they've been caught with multiple drugs or multiple weapons in the house. Those types of situations where it's more dangerous and you know they have a weapon on them, you are going to ask them to get to the ground. That's how you start your pat down. It makes it easier to do the pat down because they're on the ground. In those situations, the behind your back is more for like a simple arrest, so robbery, just any like minor felony. So if it was like, if they were to rob the bank, if they were to, I guess you could say even if they were to just hit someone, or it was like someone acting crazy on the streets, that's when you're kind of just gonna do like the behind the back. You never wanna like, the prone position is more for a serious, like a really serious felony. Anyway.
Yes, how do you avoid, during handcuffing, how do you avoid suffocating the person?
So when they're doing the prone position, that's why you're always lightly pressing on their back and never like, you don't want to put full force. So you always want to just kind of like keep it light and not too much.
Thank you.
Yes?
I think you actually captured the essence of WISE when you say that you learned a lot and it helped you to find out what you wanted to do. But I have a question for you also. Why do they look for the bone on the person to put the handcuff?
It just makes it easier. Like, you know,
Yeah, but it's not painful.
it's sometimes painful, but like, you want to make it as quick and easy as possible.
Okay. And one more comment. Usually in Greenburgh and White Plains, I know for example, they will send 3 cars, police cars.
Sorry.
You want to drink some water? Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Mine is allergies.
But why they send 3 cars is because they would like the officers to go home safely, and they'd also like the witnesses around to make sure the person is not being abused. So in White Plains, and sometimes you see 5 cars for an incident here in Greenburgh, and in White Plains the same thing. They always send backup.
Yeah, it's always good to have backup.
Okay, so like for the handcuffing one, I know they were fake, but like I was fine. I know it was fake,
Okay, sorry.
but since it was fake, like does it still like tighten up more and more like in normal handcuffs, you know?
So for these ones, these are just the practice ones, but in regular ones, they double lock, which makes them super tight and uncomfortable. So I've had to get handcuffed with in BOCES, they handcuff you with real ones sometimes. Really uncomfortable. never do it. They do get tighter as much as you push. I could actually show you. So right now, the way they were on video, so you always check if they're like tight enough by checking it. You want it to be make sure they can breathe. So if you cannot fit your finger through it while it's on the wrist, it's too tight. So it'll keep going tighter and tighter until it stops. Okay, any more questions?
I actually have a question. You said that you want to major in business and finance, right? And then after that, kind of become an officer or continue at ROTC. So what are your plans with the business and finance piece? Are you going to be like an entrepreneur, maybe start a security company or something like that? Or
once I turn 18, I plan on starting my, you can start like, you know the paralegals? You can start a company once you're 18. So I plan on doing that and starting a security firm eventually in the future, or working with my BOCES teacher who actually owns one, so I'm able to like get more information from him.
very good. Thank you.
Pedro, I know you have a question.
How does it feel like that this could be your last project or presentation as a Woodlands?
Oh, don't remind me. Actually, I have one more.
Oh, a little more?
Yeah. Actually, I have one more. But it's kind of scary, like that. These are some of the final presentations, especially like having to go into college and now present. I mean, this was a good experience because I get to present more people, and I know in college, like there's huge lecture halls, like 100 people. So it definitely, but it is scary, just knowing like you're not a high schooler anymore, you actually have to be an adult. That's so scary. That's fun.
Okay. Does it give consent for the search or the test of like testing their sobriety?
So when I say, can I have your consent of doing the test? Yeah, it does. It gives you their consent that they're getting tested or they're being handcuffed. They're saying, yes, you can search me. Yes, you can see if I have anything on me. Usually, I know like when you don't say yes, that becomes a bigger issue just because what would you be hiding that you're saying no to it? So yeah, that's why we always ask, because there's been like situations where the cops get in trouble.
Okay.
Guys, I hate my allergies. Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Thank you. Mr. Holland, I feel like you would have more questions. I'm kind of scared. Why are you quiet? I'm kind of scared, Mr. Holland. What's going on?
Well, I do have a list of questions here. But I'll only ask one. If fingerprints are not on file, like say you got a victim of something and they don't, and their fingerprints are not on file, is collecting the fingerprints still useful?
It's still useful because let's say you had like, the person goes, oh, it was a tall, I'm gonna make up a random description. It was a tall white guy with a black beard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to pull in 3 people who look like that, and then you have the fingerprints. You can fingerprint them, and whatever matches would give you a better like chance of knowing it was them. Ms. Huber?
Yes.
Yeah. Ms. Angeletta? Okay. I just want to say, I want to shout out, I'm so good at handcuffing and fingerprinting because Brianna here helped me my first year of BOCES, learning everything. So y'all just like love her for that. Yay. Thank you.
Yuri obviously couldn't be here today. She would have been the last person. So we're gonna hold Maritza off from questions that she might have for you until the end. So everyone is going to go through their evaluation, and then if you have questions for Maritza during it, she can answer, but she's not going to reciprocate any commentary until everyone's done, and then if you want to counter and ask them any questions or any input, then you can take. But while they're talking, you're taking notes so that you don't forget what you want to say. Okay?
We know Mr. Holland wants to start. We know you want to start. Let's hear it.
Okay. Somehow I always get pulled into this evaluation process. I don't know how that is. I think Huber's got my number on speed dial. I think because I'm in proximity to the WISE room. But I am a big fan of the WISE process. I was a WISE student when I was here at this school. So I'm always, I love coming in and the model presentation. Kudos to anyone who wants to do this first because it's a really scary thing. So I want to give you props for that. I love the fact that I always come in and learn something. I am a former soldier. I was a paratrooper in the Army. When you talked about the alphabet, the police alphabet, that was very familiar to me. I didn't know that they didn't have bathrooms for female judges.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't surprise me, but I said, "Oh wow, yeah." I guess they wouldn't, because it was so male dominated. As I was listening to it, I was getting a lot of information about how these things work. How a stop happens, what are police thinking as they are going through this process, because I've never been a cop, so I don't know what the other side is, and you always think you understand until you understand, and I was grateful to get an understanding of the other side of it. You were very articulate. You were very you were very precise in talking about what the thought process is and the steps by which a police officer goes through a domestic call, a traffic stop. Those things were very clear to me. And even though I've been driving for 40 years, but I didn't think about it from the other side. This was very informative. You seem to be really into it. Which is good, which is really good. Again, I'm a huge fan of the WISE program. I loved my time in WISE, and to be quite honest, when I went to WISE, what I heard earlier about kids learning something and getting something out of it, I walked into WISE saying, wait a minute, I don't have to come to school for 6 months? That's what sold me on WISE when I was a kid. So, but I did learn something. I got something out of my process. I got something every time I sit in these evaluations. I get something out of it. And kudos to you for going through the process, rejiggering your situation. It's like, well, I thought I wanted to do this, and then I wanted to do that. But that's the process. Sometimes it's ugly, and that's okay as long as you get somewhere where passion drives the ship. And that's clearly where you were. So I'm appreciative for experiencing this and thanking Elizabeth for dragging me in here once again. But kudos to you.
It was good. It gave a lot of information. It set a really high bar for a lot of other presentations. Because now I'm rethinking what I should be doing with my presentation, because I'm doing a live demonstration of roadside service, because my WISE project was auto repair. You have all your information, nice setup. I like the interactive parts where a lot of the audience was able to see their fingerprints, see what type they have. That was good. The little demonstrations, I liked. Ooh. When you really put on the spot, it's hard to come up with stuff.
I know.
It's okay. Sorry.
Well, as he's coming up with some more stuff, let me just chime in that, because I've been a teacher for a long time, and you taught this thing better than many teachers I have observed in my 20 some odd years. making it interactive, bringing the students into the lesson, because everybody learns differently. Everybody's going to get into this differently. So I appreciated that. I appreciated that a lot. And your audience appreciated it too, because you see how many people, like, everybody's shy, and then all of a sudden everybody wants their fingerprints done. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, and that's testimony and to your ability to teach us and bring us into the thing. There is a phrase, a saying that says, a teacher can only be judged by the success of their students. And I walked in my classrooms like that, and clearly you walked into this space like that. I don't know if you consciously or subconsciously walked in like that, but I was way in. I bought way into this presentation, and I walked in here tired. I had taught 4 classes straight. I'm exhausted, and you pulled me right in. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. You were right, I had a lot to say. Yes.
So yeah, my dad was a cop. He did some stuff, like 35 years, retired 2017. He constantly tells me that there's a lot of quick second decisions going on, and I got the other. It's like how fast things can escalate. He didn't touch on the topic a lot because of de-escalating a lot of situations, because he wasn't doing a lot of domestic stuff. He mainly did a lot of security for like parades, other events and stuff. So he told me different types of training, how like brutal a lot of the training was, and how much they try to prep you on fast thinking, trying to get things done, trying to make sure what people have, what's in their pockets, make sure they're not trying to escalate the situation, trying to get all your cards in order within like a brief second or two. And it's a lot of officers, and there's a lot of pressure on them. That's what I've been told about it.
There's not really much for me to say. Mr. Holland basically took the words right out of my mouth. But looking at your project and how you were in the wise room, trying to figure out the best way to like present your project. I know the feeling of them doing that while watching your project. I was like, damn, it's gonna be hard to beat. It really is gonna be hard to beat. But yeah, I think it's a great thing that you took the risk to change your project. I possibly wouldn't have done that. I probably would have been afraid to do that, because I don't know what I'd have done if I was like, oh no, I had to change my project because I didn't like what I was doing. I probably would have been afraid to do that. But yeah, I think it was very fascinating. And like Mr. Holland said, like I've been to like classes where the class was boring. Like I was already falling asleep. But yeah, for your project, it was really entertaining. I liked every single part of it. It was fun. It was funny, especially at the demos. Even though I did see some of it already, but seeing it actually happen right in front of me, and like just being like amazed how good the acting was. So yeah, I think it was really good.
Okay, right down the line on the evaluation sheet, it's journal, physical ed, research pig, bibliography, and final presentation. The journal, there's 82 entries in the journal. About 2 entries at the beginning are on the online bracelet business that she thinks she's going into. And then she goes, no, body positivity. And there are about 27 entries of body positivity. And she goes out and does all this research and interviews 5 people and lines everything up. And then the research is good. And all the links work, the sources that she went to. And then she goes, no, I want to do police academy. And then she swaps over to that. And I'm going, what the heck? How can you possibly do this? But she seems to have carried it off using her BOCES knowledge. And what I've figured out is that she's a person who always is thinking ahead. Okay? So she looks and says, I can do this much research in this period of time. I've got this BOCES stuff over here. It's a direction I'm going in, I'm committed to. I'm halfway through, but by golly, I can make it work. I can pull in a certain amount of research. And so she does. And that's, hey, incredible. Okay. Yes, I would have been afraid to change my WISE project too. So then you look at the journal, and there are a few spell checker mistakes. There's like the spell checker will substitute a word that corresponds to your word, but it may not be the same word. It will be so it's like sorority test should have been sobriety tests, and erotic should have been erratic behavior. All right, and so there are things that need to be fixed, but watch out. The spelling checker will betray you. Okay. There's lots and lots of very factual information, and so I'm going along. Okay, who is Marissa Calderon? Okay, I think it's well organized. I figured that out about her, and then I start. She doesn't want to put her life work into one thing versus another. What does Marissa like? Okay, and I got a quote right in the middle of the journal that I thought I had it solved, right? And it said, in the criminal, how I want to do security jobs in college and how I don't think I'll stay in the criminal justice system after college. Okay, so she's gone off and done a bunch of research, and she's gone and looked at the court system. And she's looked at lawyers, and she's looked at women in law. So she's looked at the high-end portion of the criminal justice system, right? If she doesn't want to just be a beat cop and work her way up. And she's looked at the top and said, no, that's not what I want. Okay, and that was at the point you were at while you were doing your research. And I think your position has evolved somewhat since then. So I'm getting a better sense of you now. So that was fine. Physical education, you walked at work. You walked. You went for walks with your dog. You ran once. It's adequate. It's maintenance. You may have to kick it up a notch if you're going into the military or something. It would to make basic training easier on yourself. But that was fine. Research, I said it was good. You interviewed, you talked about interviewing all those people on body image and setting up a survey, and then in the police academy stuff, all the fingerprinting and the mapping and the military alphabet and all the research was solid. I followed the links and they took me places, and so that was good. The pig articles, your topic choices gave me the opposite impression, okay? You have Tinker versus Des Moines School District, where students are free speech. They got arrested for wearing black armbands at school to protest the Vietnam War. And it was really about freedom of speech, and the Supreme Court upheld that. You took women in law. You went to Westchester Courthouse. Your speech, Susan B. Anthony, vote. Women's right to vote is what you studied. Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. Okay, that's what you picked, right? And the Health versus Canada, immigrant family separation, right? Where the first Trump administration, where they were separating mothers and children. Then freedom of speech in North Korea versus the U.S. and stuff about abortion, but it was all about rights. Okay. So if there are a bunch of riot police on one side who are upholding the law and a bunch of civil protesters on the other side, you seem to be pretty solidly on both sides. Okay? So that is a very interesting point of view. Then the bibliography, 26 sources. You got the links all work. You've got it's annotated, so I can look and say, do I want to bother to look at this link? Do I want to follow it? And then you've got little descriptions, and then you've got in case the links break, you've got all the traditional information. So if you have to find the source some other way, it's still there. So that was good. The final presentation, it's show and tell, right? So you did the show at the introductory stuff. It wasn't too long, and at the conclusion, you also told. And in between, you had all these things that you showed. And that was good. That was well executed. Okay? So the blocking, so if you do demonstrations like this, I happened to show up early and I watched her blocking out exactly where to put the chairs, exactly what the how the camera angle is going to work. So if you do that, practice it in advance. She did that. Practice, practice, practice. And with these 3 people here, she was like a drill sergeant. It was amazing to watch. So yeah. If you're in a profession where you need to like dominate, you can do it. Okay. So you got the fingerprinting, the pat down, the de-escalation, the DUI stops. That was all good. So I'm really happy with this presentation, and I wish you well for overall. You're going to succeed at whatever you do. Thank you.
You have one last chance to say anything you feel you still need to say.
Oh wait, one second. Okay. I mean, I don't really have any questions for the panel at all. I think it said everything that had to be said. They gave me good feedback. I think it's more for Pedro and Pascual. Like they said, I do think that they, like Mr. Warner said, definitely practice before you do your presentation. To any of you, practice. Take 2 days before your presentation and practice. I mean, you guys saw how I practiced, so I could even help you set up everything. Also, with changing it was so hard. It was scary. It was like a lot of back and forth thinking, going, should I change it? Is this gonna ruin, like, am I gonna be able to finish in time? Am I gonna be able to walk the stage because of this one little change? But honestly, it was worth it. It was worth changing it. It was worth enjoying my project. And I just, oh yeah, like you said with the saying I wouldn't continue in criminal justice, I think the more research I did, the more I went on, the more I studied in BOCES, I realized that it's not just becoming a police officer. There's the army, there's the military, there's the state troopers, there's so many jobs that you can get into. So it definitely made me want to at least try to stay a little bit longer. And yeah, thank you, Mr. Holland, for all your amazing notes. You know, it was a great speech. So yeah, thank you guys. Is there anything else? No? Okay.